Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live and welcome to the Tuesday Combat Swimmer Stroke live Q&A where we will critique some of your submitted combat swimmer stroke videos, take some other questions, and I will do my best to give some answers as well. But while we are waiting on people to show up, um, I was wanting to chat a little bit about um, being the new guy, right? Eventually, when you go through, when you have a goal, eventually you will be a new guy in a situation at some point. So, whether that goal is to graduate high school, at one point, you're a freshman. Graduate college, at one point, you're a freshman. You want to go join the Navy, at one point, you're a new guy in the boot camp, right? And then you go to Buds, you're not even in first phase yet, you're a new guy. Then you go into SQT, you're the new class in SQT. Then, if you happen to make it through SEAL training, and this applies to any job, it doesn't matter if it's spec ops, it's just the job I am familiar with. You are going to be a new guy at a team. And when you get to be a new guy at a team, my advice is to realize you have nothing to teach. You have everything to learn, and it is your job to learn as much as you can, as fast as you can, and become proficient at it. So you are now actually part of that team. You are a valued member of that team. And that really does require you to just be in receive mode. Like there's no need to transmit, just learn. And sure, you can talk, but there's no need to say, hey, this is the way we did it in SQT because nobody cares. Right. So be a humble new guy when you go there because it is your job to meet the standard, exceed the standard, and be worthy of being in the same room as people who have been doing this job for 15 to 20 years. That is what being a new guy is all about. Um, and you never stop learning. Even if you've been in 10 years, you're going to learn new things. So be in receive mode and evolve. Otherwise, if you're not evolving with a set goal, you're never going to make new goals because eventually there may be a new goal 5 years down the road where you want to go to a different team and do some really cool spec ops stuff, or you want to get out and start your own business or join the FBI or go to HRT. So many different journeys. So you're always going to be a new guy at some point. Stay in receive mode and learn. You know, police departments, fire departments, they're rookies, probies, they're new guys, right? And in the Navy, we call them FNGs, so effing new guys. So there's not a lot of respect for the new guy, but there is great respect if you are willing to learn and just be there. Something I did, I had about 4 months before my platoon started doing training together. So I finished SQT, got my trident, and was kind of waiting around for the next platoon. Was asking for all kinds of schools. What kind of schools can I go to? I did everything that I could possibly learn. And that, if you're that squeaky oil asking to go learn stuff, they'll find something for you to go do. Um, everything from forklift driving school, truck driving school, EMT course. There's so many things that might be beneficial to you somewhere in your journey. Something I did when I had like a 2 week of no schools, is I just hung out um, in the armory and talked to all the gunners mates back there, and they showed me all their gunners mates tricks for taking apart weapons and putting them back together again. And because there are some things that they know how to, do, from their years of training, and all it cost me was a case of beer just to say thanks for taking time to show this stupid ensign, something about what they do. And they appreciate that, you know, be in receive mode. That is my challenge to anybody who is setting themselves on a path to be the new guy. And you will always be a new guy. Doesn't matter. As long as you're setting goals, you will always be a new guy. But that's okay. That's fun to learn. That's where we make progress in life. So I apologize about yesterday. I had a technical difficulty with the unplugging of my camera, and then my audio went dead too. So it was kind of a cluster. But you know what? To err is human, right? Got to forgive yourself when you make those kind of screw ups. And was nothing serious. It's just my live Q&A just ended a little bit quicker than normal. So I will take some questions as they come in here. I'm going to set up some videos here, and I have several new ones. I may have shown a couple last week. I'm not sure which batch this is in, but we're going to start with this guy. So I like this one. I thought this one was pretty good, and I will show you what really good streamline means, as well as a good glide. I'm not sure what that comments know how to doing call. Not sure what that means. So try to speak in complete sentences if you will, and that would be helpful. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to do the first combat swimmer stroke critique. So I want you guys to check this out. This is, you can see already, I always like starting it off before I even see him swim. I look at this streamlined body position, and look at this. He's got his head tucked between his shoulders and biceps, one hand on top of the other. And watch how fast he kicks off this wall because he's so streamlined. Boom, like a torpedo. So this is really good. So we got a top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Top, bottom, kick and glide. I will say this. I don't think he needs that big bottom arm pull. We might be able to see it a little bit better on the way back. Nice turnaround. Double arm pull with a little dolphin kick. That's cool. He's coming up far. Top arm, bottom arm. That's a good bottom arm. So the one thing that I would consider doing to make this even better, and I think feel a little more smooth, is I want you to watch this right there. See that top arm pull? What I prefer to do, and this is just a preference, is when that top arm is already done, like right here, my face is already out of the water versus having to turn your head, pull your bottom arm, and breathe all at the same time. This is something that I think just makes it a little smoother. And hopefully I can show you that in another video here. But take a look. So top arm, then he turns his head. It's like I said, it is very subtle. And I feel bad even nitpicking this swim apart with that minor critique because I mean this guy just swam a 42-second 50, which puts him at a 7-minute pace. So because he's got a strong arm pull, a strong kick, and a really good streamline, he is nailing it. Now I will tell you this. This is something too that you don't have to do. See how he touches both hands on the wall? I can tell he's a swimmer because this is a competitive swimming open turn. Um, you don't have to touch both hands on the wall. Let's say you finish a stroke right here and your bottom arm reaches out for the wall. You don't have to reach up and grab it with your top arm. Just whatever arm's up there, just open turn the opposite way and kick off and go. That's another minor little thing that sometimes competitive swimmers tend to do. Not that it loses a whole lot of time because their turnaround's really good. I mean, watch how he turns around. Notice he's gonna, instead of grabbing onto the wall, he's gonna push off the wall, and then that just adds to his momentum going back. But this is 100-yard swim that he's doing with two really minor critiques that to be honest, he doesn't need to do what I just suggested. It will make him a little smoother though. That was a 126 100. So you do the math on that, and that is a about a 7-minute flat swim. Because if he was sticking at 130 on the hundreds, that's going to be a 730. So it's sub 730 by about another 20-25 seconds. So to be honest with you, you can't argue with the results. He's doing it right, doing it well. As long as he can maintain that pace, he'll be sub 8 minutes easy on any 500-yard swim. And that's where you want to be. I would say somewhere between 8 and 8:30 is a good above average swim that will put you in the top 20% of any SEAL class. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in that top 20%, especially if you have an 80% attrition rate. You don't want to flirt around with anything below that 20 percentile at first. Eventually, eventually everybody's going to be in the same pot, crushing the standards. But you got to get through those first 4 weeks where everybody either quits or fails to meet the standard before that happens. All right. Do you know how to start to transition from the weight room to calisthenics as a 310-pound power lifter who wants to get to 191? Woo! I don't know how to transition. Um, well, my suggestion would be, and I've had several guys over 300 who were power lifters. A lot of them had extra bulk on them they didn't need. So, some of the fat that they had on them is easier to reduce than losing muscle. I have found losing muscle is very difficult. Um, and also, I wouldn't do a lot of impact cardio at 310 pounds either. Meaning running. I would do more biking, elliptical, swimming, rowing, stair steppers. Those are good leg day workouts. So yeah, basically just transition all your lifts into calisthenics. Bench presses or push-ups, squats or air squats, deadlifts can be toe touches, right? RDL type things with no weight, or lunges. You can make them a lot of lunges. But this, I would say, is your answer. This will take you from a beginner to intermediate to advanced. It has 3 kind of set workouts in it. The beginner may be too easy, but I would think the intermediate would be a perfect place to start, given your athletic history. If you were a beginner, I would say, when I mean beginner, someone who doesn't exercise at all and needs to lose that kind of weight. But another great way to do it is add a lot of walking to your day, meaning shoot for 10,000 steps a day. That's probably about 5 miles of walking a day. And that will help you to literally walk your ass off. Um, because I will say it is hard to lose muscle in that journey. If you have a lot of muscle, it can happen, but going catabolic is not as easy as people think. People think that if they do any cardio whatsoever, they're going to lose their gains, which is really BS. As long as you are eating in a deficit, walking, doing extra cardio, doing extra repetitions, laying off the heavy weights, you'll lose that weight. Drink a lot of water too. I mean, think about walking for a 310-pound dude. You're rucking, right? If you're normally would be 200 pounds, you're rucking 110 pounds. Don't add weight. You're already got the weight. So that would be like me putting on a 100-pound backpack and going for a ruck. You walking around, so you're going to burn a lot of calories just walking. And if you need to swim, add some swimming to it. That's going to feel really good on your joints. A little zero gravity. You guys keep asking questions. Happy to answer them. Hope that helped you with that question. But that's a long journey. Give yourself a year at least to make that journey happen. All right. So Michael says, how much rucking do you recommend doing prepping for psoas and buds? How do you balance the running and rucking miles while preparing? Well, what we do, and we do this, we're doing it now in the fall. We'll do it in the winter. We'll do it in the spring. And we'll do it in the summer too. Some. But we typically ruck on leg days. That doesn't mean we don't run on leg days. But if you're in that lifting zone, you need to lift a little bit. You'll lift a little, run a little, ruck on the back end, swim with fins on the back end. You may have to do both if you're preparing for psoas. So it's a long day of cardio. But it doesn't have to be a leg day. It can be just a cardio day. We do something we call spec ops triathlons, where you'll run 4 miles, which you're going to need to do at psoas. You're going to ruck, but your rucks there will be soft sand rucks, and you will swim with fins for a mile. At Budge, you'll swim with fins for 2 miles, but I think the psoas swim is just a mile. Could be wrong. I'll double check that. But just get good at those 3 cardio events, and you'll do fine. The phase where we focus the most on the cardio events is right here. Spring calisthenics, cardio, running progression. It actually will progress you up nicely into that, 40-mile a week run ruck combo with swimming every day too, and treading, all those events. So, but rucking is important at psoas because you're going to do it. And the way they'll do it is they'll do it with a 5-10-pound weights in a backpack. And if you fall out, they'll pull one of the 10-pound weights and make you try to run back up and get with the group and try to stay with the group. And then they'll pull another 10-pound pack or 10-pound weight if you fall out. And the goal is to finish that ruck with all your weights in it. Otherwise, you're going to get noted that you fell out of the ruck twice, on the end. So everything's graded. All right. And you can do it as a team. You don't have to do it as, a bunch of individuals. You can cheer each other on. They like to see you guys getting together as a team and pushing. So yes. So someone else asks, same guy, 310 pounder, should I add mobility day to my journey? Absolutely. My mobility day is not easy. I still do 30 minutes of cardio along with 30 minutes of stretching and foam rolling in 5-minute intervals. So it's like 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of cardio, 5 minutes of stretching, 5 minutes of cardio. Do that for an hour. And then I go swimming. I do some treading, do some aqua jogging. So it continues on. Do some drown proofing. If you're preparing for like diving community world, you'll learn what drown proofing is. Um, so all of those skills are greatly enhanced by having some mobility in your ankles, hips, and knees. That is key. I've seen people fail treading, not because they didn't understand what treading was, it's because they physically could not get into a good kicking position of treading, nor did they practice treading enough to do well. All right, let me I'll take some of these questions here in a minute, but let me show another video, as I have several to show. Um, get this one going. All right, so yes, mobility days. I would suggest Wednesday and Sunday do your mobility days. All right, so that's what I do. I do them twice a week, and my knees are very grateful for them. Oh man, what the hell? All right, so let me see what I got here. I got to share my screen, window, boom. Okay, here we go. All right, another good streamlined body position before we even start. If your head's up and your hands are apart, 6 inches apart from each other, not a good streamline. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this streamline works. And he kicks off the wall very nicely. He's got a good glide. He holds it out. Look, he's coming up past that marker right there really well. Okay, so what do we got here? We got top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. It's got a little dolphin kick in there. Personally, I'm not a fan of the dolphin kick added. Sometimes you'll get told you can't do it. So it's not that it's that much of a gamble. It's really not part of the stroke. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, and it's one kick per stroke. Not that the dolphin kick is illegal. It could be though. That was pretty good. That was a 48-second 50. So even then, he's still at an 8-minute swim. Though he could be tighter on his recovery. See how his arms are out like that? Top arm, bottom arm, kick. He's got a good streamlined recovery, but sometimes when he's in that glide position, he could be a little tighter streamline position, whether that's his knees bending or his elbows bending. You want to try to look like a torpedo as much as possible. That's a good kickoff. That's not a very good glide position. He should have his elbows up under his ribs. So top arm, bottom arm, that's pretty good. I don't think you necessarily need this huge bottom arm stroke either, because it tends to pop your head up a little bit. You, though your head's in the water, you can just kind of see your head go from underwater to above the water. It almost makes this vertical movement versus just staying horizontal and turning. So take a shorter bottom arm pull, like a breaststroke skull, and you may feel less of that popping up and down. Because a lot of times when you swim, I don't know if you notice, forward momentum tends to stop when you go vertical. Like you can kind of see it, just like he just stops whenever he goes back down. He just kind of sinks back down like that versus just turning and continue to go, turning and going. Once again, very minor critiques. Everything that I just said, you could take with a grain of salt and not even listen to it, because he just swam. If you were to do 400 more yards of that, he would be at an 8-minute flat swim. Every one of those 50s were 48 seconds. 48 seconds. Really good. I'm just trying to make it a little more smoother. And I realize I have to nitpick those, like that last one and that guy. Those are really good. I think, though, the dolphin kick is just adding more work for you that you don't really need. my suggestion would be test yourself with that dolphin kick in a 500 and test it without in a 500. One, see if the time's faster. Two, see if you're more tired from the extra dolphin kicks. And then take the rest of the PST and see if those extra dolphin kicks affect anything else. Does it affect your sit ups? Because it's working your hip flexors a little more. Does it affect your run? Because you're adding, I don't know, 100 more kicks in there than you need. I don't know. Check that out. If it's not bothering you, then don't sweat it. If no instructor saying you can't do it, don't sweat it. But eventually somebody will say, yeah, you can't do dolphin kicks. Maybe. I don't know. It's not written that you can't. It's not written that you can either. So, all right. So, do you know if there's anyone in the state of Georgia that does the same training style as you do? I don't. Um, I mean, I have many people that like to do the type of training I do, but I'm not sure if they're doing it as a group for others to join in. Um, if you go to heroesoftomorrow.org, you can scroll down and there may be a couple of guys in Georgia that are offering free training. But it may or may not be a former SEAL doing it. Sometimes they're just people who are trainers that are offering assistance to anybody who wants to serve. So you can check some of those out, heroesoftomorrow.org, or you could make your way up to Maryland and get a quick introduction to our type of training. And if it works for you, I can send you what we're doing, every week too. So, all right. Do you believe that there's an ideal weight range for the average 6 foot bud student? Yes, I do. I've spoken to junior officers say that bulking up can help command respect during the pipeline. I mean, you don't want to be a super skinny guy, but that doesn't matter. They don't care how you look. They just care if you're a good guy. Take care of your guys and can put out. I mean, yeah, once you're an SQT and beyond, you should probably lift some weights and actually get bigger because your job's going to be different. You're not going through a selection. My advice is if you're going to be running your ass off and doing a whole lot of calisthenics and obstacle courses, the last thing you want to do is be too much over 200 pounds at 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall. I went to buds at 195. Um, Probably by end of third phase, I was probably 200, maybe 205 max. And any time in the SEAL teams, I probably never got over 205. So, in fact, I'm 205 right now. So even 30 years later, still at my buds weight. Um, though I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to get below 200 for life. It's just one of those things that everything works better for me when I'm a little bit lighter. So, but yeah, anywhere between 185 and 200, I would say is a good 6 foot tall um, buds weight. It's just going to allow you to not be too heavy to do well on the runs, but as well give you some mass to handle the boats and logs. Like when I was doing boats and logs in first phase, I never once felt like I was getting crushed. I'm not saying boats and logs were easy, not saying that at all, but I remember leaving a boats and logs session and thinking, kind of feel pumped up, kind of like I would do with lifting. And our whole boat crew felt that same way. Versus feeling like we're crushed and broken. We actually felt pumped up, and it was just something different, So it's a lot of attitude too helps. Let's see. Unrelated note. Joe asks, how difficult, challenging is it for enlisted SEAL operators to attend OCS? Not difficult. No, they do not attend SOAS. They go through a different pipeline, different training. You do not have to go through BUDS again. If you are a SEAL enlisted, you go to OCS straight and you come back to a SEAL team. You do not have to go through SEAL training again. So therefore you don't have to go through SOAS. So there you go. A2M18 planning to go to BUDS by the summer. Oof. But my friends who went to BUDS told me I should wait. You should listen to your friends and me. That's one of my number one rules. If you're 18 years old, don't be in a hurry to go to BUDS. Period. The BUDS compound is riddled with teenagers that didn't make it through BUDS. There are a few that do. I am proven wrong every class because there are a few 18-year-olds that make it through BUDS, and that's great. God bless them. They are exceptional human beings. Most teenagers do not have the physical maturity or emotional maturity to make it through BUDS. That is just pure statistics. So, when do you think is the right time to go? In fact, here's a neat story. One of the guys that just got his Trident started training with me at 18 years old, and he was ready to go to BUDS at 18 years old. His first workout with us, he had shin splints that lasted for 6 weeks afterwards. I'm like, dude, you have no business even thinking about going to BUDS right now. Go to college, go to a community college, take an EMT course, take a scuba diving course, do something, go to work, go work some manual labor, do some hardcore workouts. And he did. That's what he did. And he stayed with me until he was 20. And now he's 22 and just came back after getting his Trident last week. Awesome. He listened to me. He would not have made it at 18 years old. He would have fallen apart. I promise you. And he tells you that too. I have to say that to people all the time. But I guess there's always a new crop of 18-year-olds that show up every year that miss my announcement. So I will be um, I'll be the sounding board again and just remind people, yes, the highest attrition rate at SEAL training is 18-year-old and 19-year-old kids who thought they were ready. And I'll be the first to say, 18-year-old Stu, nowhere near ready to go to BUDS. I thought I was in great shape because I played 3 sports in high school, and I got my ass handed to me at plebe summer at the Naval Academy. I couldn't imagine trying to go through BUDS. Would have been toast. All right. If you go through SOAS and fail 2 times, could you go to BUDS as enlisted? Yes. You fail once and go to BUDS as enlisted. You'll be lucky to go back to SOAS a second time. You have to be invited to reapply. So, but yeah, you can go enlisted anytime. In fact, we just sent a guy to SOAS this last summer. His option was to enlist if he did not get a slot right out of BUDS or right out of SOAS, which they don't find out till about November anyway. So he went through SOAS in the summer. 2 months later, they find out that whether or not they can go to SOAS or go to OCS and then BUDS by November. He found out in November that he got an OCS slot, so he goes to OCS in January. He didn't have to enlist, but that was his plan. It's a good plan because it's pretty competitive out there. I learned to swim, same that I learned to swim, same that by your first book. Thanks, sorry for my poor English. That's okay. That's quite all right. Thanks for telling me that you're not a native English speaker, or I would have said something different. Um, Tom, my buddy, 6 foot, 205 also. Yeah, it's not bad, but 195 would be a whole lot better, wouldn't it? And if you can, this is what I love the most. If you can not gain weight over the holidays, that's huge. Huge advice and huge progress. Everybody gains weight over the holidays, football games and big parties and big feasts. If you can not gain weight over the holidays, you've done yourself a service and you'll be able to crush the new year. How do you take care of your feet and buds with the water and the sand? I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I wore two pair of socks. I wore a very thin pair of nylon polyester sock, no cotton in it whatsoever. So it added like a second layer of skin, almost like pantyhose. And then you wore your regular issue sock that was wool, cotton blend, or whatever kind of combat diver sock over that. And I never once got a blister at Buds, even being wet and sandy all the time. That saved my feet. And you just have to buy a pair of dress socks, or I think in baseball they call them sanitary socks. Don't buy compression socks. That's the last thing you need. But just um, a polyester rayon nylon blend of sock that has no cotton in it, and you'll see they work. They work really well. You can start practicing with them now when you run in your boots or walk in your boots. Makes a big difference. And then I also talked yesterday about breaking in your boots. That's another thing. Though today's boots are a little softer than the old jungle boots that we used to have to break in for, took about a couple of weeks just to break them in. If you go to SOAS, do you have to sign a contract? No. If you do find out that you fail SOAS, you can go enlisted. Awesome. Yes. You don't have to sign a contract and go officer. That's the that's the beauty of it, right? If you're trying to go to OCS after college, you go through SOAS, you don't make it, you don't owe the Navy anything. Whereas if you're a midshipman that went through ROTC or the Naval Academy, if you don't make it, you still have to go serve in the Navy and then try to lateral transfer into Buds, and you'll have to go through SOAS again as maybe a lieutenant JG, 2 years later. All right, let's do another swim. This one may be a swim where I actually need to critique. I can't remember. And I may even have showed this last week. I feel bad if I did, but my all of my videos got jumbled. And I'm not sure which ones I showed last week or which ones were newly submitted this week. So let's see what we got here. We have good kick off the wall, double arm pulls. Okay, all those flutter kicks, take them out. They are not needed. 1, 2, 3, 4. One scissor kick and then 4 flutter kicks. Yeah, by the end of this 500-yard swim, if you were to do one, you'd probably add about 600 flutter kicks to it. That, I promise you, will affect your sit-ups and it will affect your run. Your legs are going to be really tired after doing that. So one of the things that's making your kick weak and probably making you think you need to add those flutter kicks in is because notice when you kick, when you kick, you're on your side, right? But before you even get your legs together, you're on your belly. So what you want to do is kick when you're on your side and stay there until your legs close. Then during the glide, you roll over on your belly. What's happening is while your legs are still open, doing a scissor kick that's in the frontal plane, you roll over 90 degrees and now your legs have to slam together basically like a breaststroke. So you just took out all the power of your hips in that kick. Instead of kicking like this and then gliding over, you are kicking like this and right in the middle, trying to move over 90 degrees. That is something that definitely weakens your kick power. And all those little flutter kicks are just a waste of energy. Overall, not bad. Got timing down. I think your kick is your issue. So try that. Christina says she used to be able to swim tied up. Hey, that's good, Christina. Good for you. Um, let's see. I think I might have another CSS one here. I don't think I showed this one last week. Let me do this. This was one, I can't remember when these got delivered to me, somewhere between last week and last Friday. So we got a decent kickoff. Not bad. Double arm pull. Not that streamlined. If you compare this streamline body position to others, I mean, it's okay, but you can tell the difference. See, with one hand side by side, it's not horrible. He's still coming up for his first breath right here, but it just could be a little faster. All right, so top arm, bottom arm, kick. Now, one thing he's doing, if you notice, he's staying on his side the whole time, which is fine. You don't have to flip over on your belly to glide. The one thing that I tend to see what he's doing is it looks more like, see how he over rotates the other way to breathe. Like there's really no reason to be looking up at the ceiling when you come up to breathe. You should just be turning your head so this much of your face is out of the water this way, I guess. And half your face is still in the water, but there's no reason to over rotate and pull your chest up towards the ceiling. It's what it think he's yeah, I shouldn't be seeing half your chest up towards the ceiling. I've seen it worse. So it's not that bad. I would just say try to think about it more like a freestyle. Like this movement right here, your face should be out of the water, just like in freestyle swimming, crawl stroke swimming. That way you don't have to over rotate and use that bottom arm to lift you up to breathe, because that's what's happening. See how that bottom arm pushes down? Then that allows you to go up. Let's see how your recovery looks. Yeah. Take a look at your arm recovery. You can see it better on this side. Could be a little tighter to the body. I mean, it's not that bad. It looked like it was a little worse on the way back. Yeah, you know what? I give that a pass. Just some reason it looked like your elbows were way out in front of you on this side. Maybe it was just the angle. But there's a lot of strokes going on here. You got no glide. I think that's probably it. So my suggestion would be fix your kick. Read the article called "Fix Your Kick CSS Help" and see how that helps you. In fact, I'll find it for you here real quick. Fix your kick and do some of these drills in this kick article. I think you'll like this one. Check out that article. That may help you fix your kick so you don't need to shorten your glide phase, because that's what was happening there. You had like a 1 Mississippi glide on that stroke. So we got any more questions? I might show one more depending on how. No, that's not it. Got another really good swimmer that likes to throw in a bunch of dolphin kicks, though we've already shown a dolphin kick one. It's really good though. just as fast as the other guy without the dolphin kick. Let's see what else I have here. I think I've shown this guy with the swimming with fins. Let me see. I'm looking to see if I have another video to show you. I do have a video showing a really good breaststroke kick. In fact, if I can't find it in my inbox or my downloads, it is on my TikTok page. In fact, let me do that. I'll go to TikTok and it is labeled Perfect CSS. Yeah, you'll like this. All right. So this is what I would call a perfect CSS, and this is a breaststroke kick. Um, I'll share my Chrome tab. And by the way, if you don't want to download the TikTok app, which I understand, you don't have to. You can just go to tiktok.com and see these videos fine without downloading any app if you're worried about Chinese infiltration of your stuff. All right, so can you guys see this? Yes, you can. All right, so let me go over here. So
Smith
kick
with
off
another
the wall,
CSS critique,
double arm
and
pull.
here is a
Look at that
perfect
breaststroke kick, top arm,
version
bottom
of the
arm
CSS.
kick. And this guy's not a
Look at
competitive
this, top
swimmer.
arm, bottom
He just
arm
had a
kick.
really good
I
breaststroke
think
kick
that's
from
his
the
third
start.
stroke right there.
And
This
a
is a
good way to
25-yard
judge whether or
pool,
not your kick is
and it's
good or
just
not, and
all
this is a good
efficiency right there.
way to watch. So
We'll count
watch
that as
this.
4 strokes.
Kicks off the
But
wall,
kicks off the
double arm
wall, nice
pull.
double
Let's
arm, pull
count
out,
his
breaststroke
kicks.
pull
There's
out,
one kick,
pops up. If you can't do a
2
breaststroke pull
kicks,
out, no
or
big
you can
deal.
count
You
strokes
can just
either
skip
way.
it and go right
You can
into
count
the stroke.
breaths or
But give
kicks. There's
yourself a
3
good
kicks,
4 or 5 seconds off the wall,
4
because you will never
kicks,
be faster
and 5 kicks to
than
get across the
these
pool.
next few
That's really
yards
good.
right here. When you kick off that wall, stay
So if you can
streamlined
do it in 5 kicks
and
to get
come
across
up
the
for your
pool,
first
that
stroke.
will tell you that 2 things are
That's some
working. Your
fast
streamline is
movement
working,
if you
because
can
if you
take
notice, he's
advantage
got
of
an
that
excellent
wall. So
streamline, and your kick is working.
that's the beauty
That
about
means you're
swimming in a
creating some power
25-yard
with
pool.
your
You got
kick,
a lot of kickoffs.
and
If
your
it's a
streamline
50-yard
is
pool
allowing
or a
it to
50-meter
glide
pool, you're going to have fewer
efficiently
kickoffs,
at
might
that
be about
same
20
yard per
seconds
second
slower
that
typically.
you would be
But
moving while you were kicking.
there is nothing
So
to
yeah, you guys
critique
check out that TikTok
on this
page. That
stroke,
TikTok
if you
page
ask
is
me. Perfect
is a
glide. Look at this.
good list
1
of
Mississippi, 2
combat. It's
Mississippi, 3
only
Mississippi.
combat swimmer stroke
Boom.
videos on there. I mean, I may throw a different
Perfect.
style of swimming in there, like drown proofing
Learn.
and stuff, but it's all spec ops swimming. So there you go. How was that one, Joe? Was that good? I can't think of a better one. I want to enlist in the Marines, but I have been diagnosed with Tourette's at a young age. Can I still join? You know what? I'm not sure. I don't know all of the issues. There's a long list of things that disqualify you from military service. I don't know if Tourette's is one of them. Could be. It's likely disqualifying, but if it's manageable or it's something you've able to uh, get over, um, I don't know, man. Sorry, I'm not the answer of all things medical. Let's see. If I have 2.5 years left of college, when should I try to go for SOAS? You can only go after your college. I'm pretty sure. Now you can start the application your senior year, start the paperwork flowing December of your senior year, because everything's due by February. And then you graduate in May and you go to SOAS that summer. All SOASs are in the summer. So that is how you do that. You have to wait until you graduate before you go to SOAS. Now, if you're ROTC or Naval Academy, that's a different story. They will go to SOAS after their junior year, the summer before their senior year. And then they finish their senior year, they graduate in May, they go to butts. But you have to have that degree first before you go. Not a problem, Joe. Hope it was helpful. All right, a few more questions, then I got to bail. Any tips for progression on holding your breath? Potential selection requires a lot of swimming, along with underwater walk event, carrying weights on the bottom of the pool. I don't like recommending this type of stuff. I mean, you can try to hold your breath, but if you're doing it, practice it not in the water. The whole weight carry thing is fairly new amongst selections. Probably recon guys are doing it now. Um, I mean, it's really no different than underwater swimming. And the technique of underwater swimming is the key, not necessarily how long you can hold your breath. Because if you can hold your breath for about 50 seconds, you can swim 50 meters underwater in about 50 seconds. Now, the thing that you can't do is just constantly pulling and kicking and lots of flutter kicks because you won't go 20 yards. So it's all gliding. So one things I teach when I'm teaching underwater swimming is going from one end of the pool to the other in a 25-yard pool or meter pool is to do that in 4 to 5 strokes, meaning big double arm pull, hold the glide, kick and recover and hold the glide. All right. That would be, every arm pull you get would count as a stroke. But there's 2 units of propulsion per stroke. It's the double arm pull and it's the kick and recover. So you can actually get some distance on both of those as long as you stay streamlined. So streamlining is important, powerful double arm pull and a powerful kick. So my advice would be to watch what it means to be a breaststroke pullout. Um, just Google that term on YouTube. Google it. Search that term on YouTube. Um, breaststroke pullout. That'll show you how to utilize your arms, and then watch how they transition out of that double arm pullout into the stroke itself, and you just hold that glide. The only difference is you're not coming up to breathe in an underwater swim, but that breaststroke pullout will teach you how to swim underwater. Then I have a couple underwater swims on this YouTube channel that you can search too, and it just shows me doing it. I think I do it like 4 or 5 strokes to get across a 25-yard pool. So, um, let somebody else give you advice on breath holding. People die every year holding their breath underwater, and I just hate to see it. So, one, don't ever do it alone. Two, even with a lifeguard, it's not that safe. People think, oh, wow, he's really doing well holding his breath underwater, and you're not moving anymore. That's a sign that, somebody should be jumping in and getting you, not marveling at the fact you can hold your breath for 5 minutes. Unfortunately, people have died because of that, and they have people on the pool deck watching them drown. Candidates too, like spec ops candidates. So don't be stupid. That's one way to end your spec ops dreams before it even happens. All right, folks, we got any more questions? All right, so you guys should check out. If I didn't answer your question, email it to me, stu@stewsmith.com, down here on the little ticker down at the bottom. Also, check out stewsmithfitness.com for programs like Navy SEAL EOD Diver PST workout. That's a good one. My latest ones are the seasonal tactical fitness periodization models, which is fall, winter, spring, and summer is complete. I just haven't gotten it from the printer yet, but they are printing and selling right now. So That was my big project at the end of this year. I didn't write a lot of articles because I've been writing these 4 books for the last. I got the idea in July to write these 4 books, and I crushed it between July and December. So I just wanted them done before mid-December, and now that they're done, I am chilling. I'm not going to try to write anything crazy other than some articles. So if you do have some good article topics you'd like me to write about, send them. Some of these questions will probably become an article topic because we had some good questions today. I appreciate that. Always appreciate good questions because they do give me ideas. I guess I won't see you guys till after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody. I do plan on being back here on Monday of next week. So the day after Christmas, 9 o'clock, and Tuesday, 9 o'clock, I will be back. And, you know, let's get after it. My winter lift session starts next week. So we're going to start Monday on this one, getting after it together. So you can join us virtually if you like, and we can talk about it every week. So, all right, folks, I will chat with you guys later. You guys have a good one. Check out Stu Smith Fitness for some more answers to your fitness challenges. Plus, I'm here to help. Email me, stu@stusmith.com. We'll see you.